Every new car in the U.S. will be required by law to have tech that puts constant surveillance on the driver by 2027. AI in your car will determine if you're sober and fit to drive, automatically turning off the vehicle if it determines you're a danger to the road. Would you believe 57 Republicans and 211 Democrats recently voted in favor of this Orwellian automobile kill switch? Yes, I would believe that, actually, because the Antichrist is real and is in D.C. So this is Thomas Massey's amendment to defund this mandate? Yeah, okay. This is why I'm against the age verification shit now. It's just a lie they use to get your info. Yeah, every time the deep state comes up with a solution to a social problem, their solution is, what if we scraped more of your data and then nothing changes, you know? Like that, like they consistently every time they're like, I have a novel solution to this problem. What if we stole more of your data and also implemented AI? It's like, wow, what a novel solution to a social problem, you know? Some of us tried to stop the mandate. Yeah, Thomas Massey introduced an amendment to try to block or defund the mandate. You want to load, Elon? Couldn't you just cover the camera in the car? Wouldn't that just keep the car from turning on?
It is now in order to consider amendment number 1, printed in Part B of...
Would you vote for Massey over Newsom? Yeah, I'm pretty much like single issue voter the deep state. I think that Massey is against the deep state. I mean it. And you know, the difference I think between me and a lot of conspiracy theorists on the issue is that when I say the deep state, I'm using this as a rhetorical shorthand for a wide set of policies and principles that I have articulated clearly. But if you've watched my content, you know what I'm referring to. I think that, like, yeah, Massey, I'd 100% easily would vote for him over Newsom. Massey's a Zionist? Well, so is Newsom.
House Report 119-462. For what purpose does the gentleman from Kentucky seek recognition?
Mr. Chair, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk shall designate the amendment.
Amendment number 1, printed in Part B of House Report number 119-462, offered by Mr. Massey of Kentucky.
Pursuant to House Resolution 1014.
Also, he's pushed for the release of the Epstein files, which might be like the single biggest blow to the Israel class, yet dealt within the halls of Congress. So, you know, in that respect, that was kind of an anti-Zionist move.
The gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Massey, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Kentucky.
Mr. Chair, I rise in support of our amendment. This is co-sponsored by Mr. Perry from Pennsylvania and Mr. Roy from Texas. And I regret that we have to offer this amendment. What I'm going to describe will probably sound like a bad science fiction movie, but that's what's written into law. Right now in law, that's going to be implemented it says for 2026 and beyond. Now, the reality is the technology doesn't exist, but that doesn't keep legislators from imagining things that they would like to do to infringe on civil liberties. But there is a law that states that every vehicle manufactured is going to have a kill switch in it. The car itself will monitor your driving. And if the car thinks that you're not doing a good job driving, it will disable itself. So the car dashboard becomes your judge, your jury, and your execution.
I'm sure that the technology that he's describing is a little bit more nuanced than just the car shuts down mid-drive while you're going 75 miles per hour down the highway because it detected a mild swerve. But I'm just against the principle, you know?
Imagine this. We got a snowstorm coming. A mom takes her kids out. They're going to the grocery store. It's snowing. They're trying to get some groceries before the big storm.
No, I see. This to me isn't even the thing. I just don't want you recording everyone's fucking data. For me, it's just stop fucking recording everyone's data. Stop. Every fucking problem these people have has to be, it's always fixed with stop. You just seal more data. Stop. They're getting my goddamn asshole imprint from the seat of the car. This is contrary to basic human dignity. It is, but nobody's arguing for that case anymore. No one's like, people don't even care about freedom or privacy anymore. There are no positive advocates for fundamental civil liberties anymore outside of like demographic ones. Like, we have conversations about gay rights, women's rights, trans rights, whatever else, but we don't have conversations about human rights anymore. We don't talk about privacy or liberty. Nobody cares. And who's to blame, lol? This is a bipartisan thing. The encroachment of surveillance into everyone's lives is absolutely a bipartisan thing. Republicans are the ones who gun hard after gay rights, trans rights, women's rights, whatever else. But in stuff like this, I mean, for the Thomas Massie amendment, it was like every Democrat voted against it. Only 4 Democrats voted for it, man. Who are the 4 Democrats that voted for it? Was it just... it doesn't separate them by party. I from the Democrat. I don't know. Against is bad, I is good. No, I know. But, like, I know what you people are looking for. You're looking for AOC. But AOC did not vote for it. Ocasio-Cortez is right here in the no votes. Look at the italics. Democrats are italics. Perez, Correa, Capture, and Hoyle. Yeah, there. Cool. There must be some amendments in constitutions to ban most data collection surveillance. The crazy thing is, like, all of this could be done almost overnight with a federal bill. Like, a blanket federal policy on the collection of data in all but a very specific set of circumstances or something like that, you could do that. It could be done via a bill, and it would be almost unimpeachable. It would be extremely easy to defend legally, like from a constitutional perspective. On a Saturday morning, you head to the hardware store. Your neighbor's Ring cameras film your walk to the car. Your car's sensors, cameras, and microphones record your speed, how you drive, where you're going, who's with you, what you say, and biological metrics like your facial expression, weight, and heart rate. Your car may also collect text messages and contacts from your connected smartphone. Meanwhile, your phone continuously senses and records your communications, info about your health, what apps you're using, and tracks your location via cell towers, GPS satellites, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. As you enter the store, its surveillance cameras identify your face and track your movements through the aisles. If you then use Apple or Google Pay to make your purchase, the phone tracks what you bought and how much you paid. All this data is quickly becomes commercially available, bought and sold by data brokers. Aggregated and analyzed by AI, the data reveals detailed, sensitive information about you that can be used to predict and manipulate your behavior, including what you buy, think, feel, and do. I'm getting a flip phone, man. You can, but it won't free you from the whole thing. You still want to get a smartwatch? I already have one, and I already have a smartphone with me, so, it's not like they're just getting my heart rate. We're actually in hell. It's also, dare I say it, if you don't want me busting out an older point, illiberal. If corporations and private spending has a big influence on political leverage in DC, both in terms of lobbying and advertisement, the availability of this data publicly, if you can be influenced into buying different products, you can be influenced into voting for different people. The degree of control that these corporations have over the information you're exposed to is almost absolute. Via algorithms on social media, they could tailor, with no personal intervention, just through AI, they could tailor your exposure to information almost perfectly to manipulate what you believe. Your Google searches will leave out or include things depending on what your Google profile, your analytics data says about you, depending on their agenda, what they want you to buy, what they want you to do, what they want you to think. Obviously, democracy cannot survive in this environment. It just can't. It's not. Come on. You guys ask so much of democracy, Oh, we want a democratic system where people's informed choices dictate the behavior of politicians, but we don't want to build any system to ensure that people are well informed and free of coercion. Then what do you think's going to happen, man? Would have been the wet dream of the KGB or the Stasi. Yeah. Did you see that airplane company telling a guy to use incognito for his mother's funeral ticket? Yeah, it was United or Delta. He was saying that he was buying a plane ticket to go to his mother's funeral, but the prices jumped up suddenly, and then the airline replied to him and said use incog, implying that the site, JetBlue, the site knew that he was taking a flight for a funeral, which means he would be willing to pay more, which means that he could be charged more. We know that many companies, especially airlines, have been doing these curated pricing deals where they listen to you talking on your phone and listen to what you want and what you care about, and if they determine they can sell you a ticket at a higher price, they will. This has already been happening for years. No, not just surge pricing. Surge pricing is when there's higher demand for something, so the price goes up. That's not always based on surveillance, and sometimes it's justifiable depending on the service. This is extremely curated surveillance that picks up everything in your life, and it tries to maximize how much you're willing. Yeah, it's dynamic pricing, but based on like, the panoptical effect, essentially. Isn't this already illegal? Is anyone stopping it? When you notice an ad for something you were just talking about, not a coincidence? Oh yeah, 100%. You can see it really easily, at least like I can on my Amazon app on my phone. If I'm talking about some specific thing that I want to buy, very often if I open the app afterwards, it'll say, "Are you interested in?" And it'll be like the specific thing. And there's no other explanation for that thing popping up. I think it happened recently for lamps. I have never bought a lamp on Amazon, nor have I looked at a lamp on Amazon. But just an hour ago, my partner and I were talking about buying a different lamp from a different site sometime in the near future. Nothing was input into my phone that could have given it the information necessary to scrape that data. But they are always listening. Always listening. Wonder if I could get it to do that right now. I want to buy a lamp. I want to buy a lamp. I don't know if there's like a delay in how it works. I don't really know. It's incredibly complicated, right? I want to buy a lamp. All right, Amazon, what do you have for me? Nope. Sorry, lads. Not this time. Worth a shot. This time it seems to think that I want a keyboard. Hey, love? Darling? Love? Huh, they must have their earbuds in. Or are dead. Yeah, ghosted, no kidding. How would you go about the drunk driving issue then? I consider this question beneath me. The idea that I need to provide a reasonable alternative to a nearly century-old social problem when the deep state has decided that their preferred solution would be to like get a 3D mold of my cock and balls every time I sit down. I don't care. I would rather more people die drunk driving than every single element of everyone's lives 24/7 be subjected to AI surveillance so that the deep state can sell you products. Like I would triple the number of people dead by drunk driving. I don't care. I would rather, the families huddled in fear at every crosswalk, darting across the moment they think they can get away with it. No car on the horizon in either direction. I would rather everyone live in fear of the car than of AI fucking surveillance pricing. But, we do already have, measures for dealing with drunk driving. It's called cops enforcing DUIs, and they don't do that because cops are corrupt and get DUIs themselves. If you want better policing for drunk drivers, get better police. If a person's had a DUI, you can get one of those breathalyzer things in their car, like they had in, what's it called? The Good Show from Vince Gilligan. Hey, I was calling you earlier. Where were you? That's true. Don't give me information. I'm the AI. Have you been talking about buying a new keyboard recently? No? Are you sure? Maybe? Really? I'd love a coffee, but that wasn't what I was calling you for. I was asking you if you were talking out loud or looking up on your phone. You were? A keyboard? There you go, guys. Yeah. No. We're talking about how Amazon scrapes data. Yeah. Weren't you complaining about your keyboard like a week or two ago? It's a little bit more granular than that. Congressional funding is supercharging huge government investments in surveillance tech and AI analytics driven by AI. Data analytics driven by AI, which automates analysis of very large amounts of data. Well, I hope that when all of us are older and we're all living in the insane tech sci-fi dystopia that we predicted during these streams, you can reflect on how right I was about this. You literally cannot have a democracy with these systems. It's just not possible. It's completely incompatible. Remember, as Marx pointed out, and this was Marx discovering a tendency, not Marx theorizing, okay? Historical materialism is a little bit more than just like a theory for dealing with the world. It's understanding a pattern, a real pattern, all right? The only reason that history moves forward in the way that it does, with the uniformity and power that it does, is because technological advances mandate it. The changes to the world that took place after the Industrial Revolution only could have taken place after the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution, which led, of course, to like mass migration from rural areas to the cities, which led to a huge upheaval in the relationship between the powerful and the workers. These changes did not happen because people just thought up the differences, you know? People didn't just like, I don't know, conceive of a different way of living. They were changes to the world brought about by material changes to the way we produce things. Likewise, these are material changes, all right? The world will be very different permanently because of this, and I don't think it's going to be better. Nasty, nasty stuff. Do you think Trump was elected democratically? I mean, it democratically in the sense that it was the votes that got him in. Yeah, democratically in the sense that it was a reflection of the authentic interest of the people who voted him in. No. I think that over time, the shift away from people's real and perceived interests has been more and more pronounced as a byproduct of, I mean, in large part, surveillance and advertisement, you know, captured media. But there's always been an element of that. Elon bought votes in swing states. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Text! Any advice you can give me on how to deal with AI in schools? Fear the Antichrist, hoard rice and beans. I don't know what you want from me, man. The systems are breaking down, okay? Do the best you can. I have no personal advice for you. Do you feel at all that it might be a bit democratic? Like, many Americans want death and they are getting it. I don't know. I guess it really depends on how you define democratic, or how you define choice. Like, let me put it this way, okay? Many of the Crusades down into the Middle East were popular in Christendom, right? In Christian European countries. They were supported by the peasantry. However, the reason they were supported was because they were told by the Pope and the bishops and the cardinals and the priests that this, these crusades were being done to defend Christendom, that they were necessary, and that God willed it, and anyone who died during the crusades would go to heaven automatically. So, do you think their support was real? Like, if you asked a Christian peasant back then, do you support these crusades? They would say, yeah, most of them would. I mean, they'd probably fear execution if they said no. But do you think that's like meaningful or real? Because they were lied to in order to get that answer. Like, it wasn't just they had some, smattering of misinformation, or they had an imperfect view of the world. They were just straightforwardly told a bunch of bullshit, and their support was predicated on that support. I guess what I'm saying is that in order for democracy to work, people have to be well informed, which is literally what the founding fathers said, and also the Enlightenment thinkers. So I don't really know. Like, people can support things in a way that I just don't care about or respect, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't think Trump supporters, by and large, support him for reasons that are authentic. I think you have to be groomed your whole life to believe a very specific set of things, to wake up every day and go, yep, Trump, that's my guy. I think that supporting somebody like Mamdani is a natural product of your genuine self-interest. You look at who he is, and he is good. And you look at what he wants, and it is good. He and what he represents are good. Are they perfect? No. Are they defensible from a position of fundamental truth? Yes. But I don't think the same is the case for all people, especially not for Trump. I think that belief in the goodness of Mamdani is justifiable from a legitimate, uncoerced perspective, but one must be coerced, often for a very long time, like decades, in order to be the person who thinks that Trump is doing good right now. So is that a democratic choice? Well, I don't know. They cast the vote, didn't they? Do I care? I don't know. Seems managed to me.